And use this method to help you to relax too, and provide whatever follow-up you require. So talk about the courses that are coming up over the next 4 or 8 weeks.
My name is Alexander James Anderson and I'm 9. I was up in Warrnambool living there for a year when I was 5, and my mum got a notice about Buteyko, and it was on at the Archie Graham Centre, and so she thought might as well come along and see what it's about. So since then I've been doing the Buteyko method, and it's helped me a lot with my asthma, and it's very helpful.
My name's Denise Anderson, and mother of Alexander, who at the age of about 18 months was having a lot of trouble, more so around the time of cold and things, but he sort of intermittently, not constantly, but just would suffer from shortness of breath and irritability and coughing, and around the age of sort of 2 and 3 would sort of religiously when he was having this period of or episode would be going to bed, and I could nearly time within 20 minutes he'd be up hacking and coughing and spewing for the want of another word. So it was something that would just come and go every couple of months. Or we did move to Warrnambool, which was my hometown, so we had visited there on weekends and had the occasion where the episodes would occur, and we're thinking, great, we're going to this cold windy place for 12 months, I wonder how he'll go. So shortly after we got there, we actually caught wind of on the radio and through flyers about this Buteyko business. Being sceptical initially, not knowing sort of where it was coming from, it was the first we'd ever heard of it. We went along and had a listen and sat there all night nodding, registering things that we never had answers to, but we're getting them from, Paul sort of didn't know our situation at all. We were just someone in the crowd, but we were connecting with what he was saying. So from there we took on the extended week and haven't looked back. So Alex progressively and quite quickly sort of came off definitely any use of relievers. By the time we'd left Melbourne, he went from being a little babe having Ventolin syrup, although not for terribly long because I didn't like the speed that he was going at when he was on it. And he had then gone on to various courses of steroids, and then the next season it'd be something up the nose, and then the next it'd be a different steroid and twice a day. And so he was on quite a regime, probably not the worst ever, but quite a regime, and always felt that we were just doing something to get through the next hour or two. He was on the nebuliser often enough that we bought one, thinking it was an investment, but obviously not required. So yeah, it was. We're very happy and have only moved onwards. He doesn't really take any medication at all now, and he being at school and whatever, and being very independent now as he gets older, we were just very happy to have something that if he didn't have a bag full of goodies medication wise, he would always have this as a backstop. Well, it's now in the forefront.
My name's Julie, this is Nikki and Mandy, my 2 daughters. We first heard about Buteyko from my mother, and I'm not exactly sure how she heard about it, but she booked us in for the first session, and I'd heard and read a little bit about it before that, so when we went along, it wasn't entirely new, but it was great.
How long ago was it?
About 18 months ago. We did the course really successfully. The girls enjoyed it, if anything. I think where we could have improved is afterwards. We didn't probably do as many of the exercises as we could have.
Yeah.
We did probably only about 2 weeks and then kind of tapered off a bit. Despite that, the improvement's been fantastic in the reduction in medication required, and we're actually going to go along and have a bit of a refresher, which you can do free of charge, which is great, and see if we can't improve a bit more. And I guess the aim would be to get rid of the preventers.
Well, it was different. I had never heard of anything like it before, and I didn't know there was such thing of like getting off asthma medication. I thought I was on it for like life because my granny was on it still. My dad had it for a while, and I didn't think that I could get off the medication, so it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that Buteyko was sort of a weird name, and I wasn't sure what to think about it. And when we went along, I was quite surprised to see such an improvement in my asthma.
We got involved in more sports and stuff, and this year we've been doing 4 sports nearly. Like last year we only could do 1 or 2, like 1 each term, and this year we've been doing about 4 sports for the year, and it's been so much fun because you meet so many new people and you're able to do everything that everyone else is able to do.
Yeah, and when we had asthma, we sort of had to stop playing sometimes and sit off and take our puffer because we'd get a bit wheezy. But now, since we've done Buteyko, we'd just breathe through our nose before the game and maybe do an exercise or something before the game, and then during the game we wouldn't have any problems. We could just keep on playing like everybody else and we wouldn't have to come off.
Well, they teach you to reduce your breathing, breathe through your nose, and yeah, just breathe normally through your nose.
What about if you can't breathe through your nose?
Well, if you can't breathe through your nose, you do this crazy little exercise. You breathe through your nose, then out, then you hold your nose and shake your head upside down. Up and down. Like that. And yeah, it works. And then you can, like, for the children, you do steps. The highest you breathe in, out, then you hold your nose, and then you walk as far as you can, and however many steps you record. The highest is 97 in 5 days.
What did you start off on?
17.
So when you first come here, you only could do 17 steps.
Yes.
So you weren't running around the block, really?
No.
So what do you think now? I mean, now that
Oh yeah, it's excellent. It has helped me so far. Dad's not as skeptical about it. And yeah,
And what,
it's worth it.
do you reckon you can do these exercises for a little while?
Oh yeah, I can do it as long as I need.
Yeah. Will you do it?
Oh yeah, most likely. I hardly ever give up on anything.
Dane Robert Dennis McGregor.
Okay. And Dane, what's happened to you over the last week?
Well, there's been a drastic change, and I've improved a lot in my breathing.
Have you been suffering from asthma or?
Yes, from asthma and other symptoms, and like you have a lot of problems. Like you can't breathe. Like you wake up and you're coughing, and you need to use a lot of tissues and things like that.
Did you think this was going to work for you when you actually?
I was a bit unsure, but I had read the pamphlet and everything, and I was kind of a little bit cautious, but I'm sure that I'd get results from it if I was determined and I tried. Because I've been a mouth breather, now I can learn how to breathe through my nose. It was very hard to breathe through the nose after you've spent your whole life nearly breathing through your mouth. So it took a while to get used to it. I had much better sleep, heavy sleep, and I woke up energised in the morning.
Fantastic. So you've been, this is your 5th day, isn't it, I think, of doing it
Yep.
today?
Yeah.
And can you, what's the biggest difference that you feel yourself in since you've been doing this?
I feel clean and fresh and kind of bubbly, and yeah, just lots of energy, and it's been fun. I'm still a little bit sore around the jaw and stuff from holding it together.
Oh, so just tell me about that. What happens then?
Well, since I always have my jaw open because I'm a mouth breather, now I have to keep my jaw closed with my mouth. So it's sometimes it aches a little bit, but
It's just the muscles there.
yeah, but I'm sure it will get used to it. Muscles.
Okay. What happened before you went there? I mean, what did your mum find out about this, or your dad, or what's the story?
When I was a smaller child, my dad found out, didn't you? Yeah.
Are you committed to yourself that you're going to do this breathing? Just tell me about that. What have you thought?
Well, it is a problem, and I want to fix it. So, and this is really helping me. Like, I got results overnight, so it's been really good, and I'm really determined to fight it.
That's good. Congratulations, anyway.
Because it will help other people to learn about it if they're not sure about it. So if they understand how it drastically changes, then I think that will be good. With the steps, I started off 15 when I first started, and now I can hold for 50 steps.
Wow.
So,
just in 3 days.
Yeah, in 3 days.
So what do you think, Rosemary?
I think it's wonderful. It's really amazing, the change in him, as far as his sleeping is concerned.
Dad, what do you think about this?
I think it's excellent. Should have done it a lot earlier. We did think about it a couple of years ago and did a bit of research on that. But I think Dane will improve well, and we're starting now to take it out. We go for a walk up Brooks's Hill, and he's done that a couple of times now, and that's really showed improvement for him. But we're all actually practicing it here ourselves, and we're all getting improvement, so it's got to be a good thing.
Have you suffered anything like this yourself?
No, but I think it's helped with fitness, and being a firefighter, we use breathing apparatus all the time, so we try to improve our duration. And since I learned about it a couple of years ago, I've used that technique, and it actually increases your duration when you're wearing breathing apparatus and chemical suits and similar, which are very demanding on your breathing. Yeah, I believe it to be a very good program for firefighters, because you are always trying to encourage longer duration, and just the general health benefits would be excellent for that.
So you saw the Buteyko method previously, did you?
Yes, I did, and I was going to. I just did a bit of research on it and got a tape and had a look at that. But I think you need to actually do it in a structured program, especially for the younger, for children. It just encourages them, and they get the full theory. It's a bit like trying to teach your kids to drive a car. It's not an easy thing to do. So, and I've been practicing the techniques, and I'm not perfect, and I understand it and believe it's a very good way of breathing.
Have you seen the difference in that?
Yeah, I certainly have, and I felt that he would improve quickly initially, but now he's just got to maintain that and maintain those skills and get better at it, and we'll certainly be encouraging him to do that.
I found out about it several years ago. One of my friends did the course, and her asthma was absolutely extraordinary. She was actually going to have to be hospitalised and have operations on, I think, on her lungs, and it was just absolutely extraordinary, the change in her. It was just amazing. And she's been much, much fitter ever since. She was on the nebulizer twice a day, at least, quite often longer than that. So she was spending most of her time, you know, on the nebulizer and didn't have much of a life, really. And she hasn't been on it since. He went to the orthodontist and needs braces, and he certainly recommended the method as a way of not only helping now but in the future, because evidently his teeth, when they are sort of straightened and fixed, will stay that way if he's a nose breather rather than a mouth breather. So, and that's obviously, you know, after you've paid lots of money for the orthodontist, you don't want to have to do it more than once.
The orthodontist has said he's a chronic mouth breather, and we were aware of that, and then that was the trigger for saying it will definitely go and do a proper course. And no, I didn't even think that it could lead to sort of orthodontic problems. But when you think about it, having the mouth open all the time, it's got to put that jaw in the wrong position.
Dane's breathing's much, much quieter now, and his sinuses are far less blocked than they were. He had enormous trouble. He was quite snuffly the whole time, used lots of tissues, you know, had to clear his nose, and it's improved out of sight. I can't hear him breathe anymore, which can sort of be quite disconcerting the first time, particularly at night, you know, sort of. But yes, he sleeps very quietly, and it's just extraordinary, the change in him in just such a few days.
I've heard all the stories, and now I know as well, just like from these couple of days, how much I've improved. And all the stories are really like miracles, nearly.